Hello, welcome to this video. This is a music arts ranking video, and in this one I'm going to talk about my top 10 greatest classic rock albums. I have to emphasize that it is all my own ranking, my own preferences. No one will agree with my order or my ranking or even my choices, but here it is anyway. I just want to talk about these great albums in the classic rock genre, if it is a genre. We'll call it a genre. Started in the late 60s, started getting defined in the late 60s, and went on till present day, perhaps. Fine. And number 10 on my list is Against the Grain by Rory Gallagher. By my favourite incarnation of the Rory Gallagher band, Lou Martin on piano, Jerry McAvoy on bass, the great Rod Dieth on the drums, of course the frontman himself, Rory Gallagher, with his guitar. This band gives you the impression of flying. There's a kind of effortlessness to the music, to the performance. It's probably a lot of hard work, really, but they make it sound effortless. Great guitar work. Great songs on this album. Walking Hot Coals, Daughter of the Everglades, blues rock, of course, but also there's a subtle Irish music going on in there, because he loved the blues, but Rory also loved Ireland even more. So we have the Irish classic rock album. Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, great song. Of course, they were going to go on to do one of the great live albums, Irish Tour 74. My second choice is an American band, by an American band, Journey. And I have a little card sleeve disc here. I haven't got the bigger package yet, but I had it on vinyl all the time. And it's Departure from 1980. This is the latest one in my list. And what can I say about this? I don't know if you've noticed, but as rock music progressed, went on over the decades, musicians became more and more flashy. And of course, this is just full of virtuoso musicianship. And of course, it has the great Steve Perry, one of the best singers in rock music. Great songs, very interesting music. Great harmonica solo on, I think it's on the second track. Everything nice and clear, very clear sound. What else can I say? Oh yes, they're best known for doing albums with kind of anthemic pop rock songs like Don't Stop Believing and so on. But this is a much more interesting record. It has great funky sounds, hard rocking. Fantastic record, Departure by Journey. My third one is by the wonderful, ever boogieing, consistent, tuneful Status Quo. The guitar work on this is stunning. The songs are great. Rocking All Over the World, the album. Rocking All Over the World by Status Quo. because the title track's one of their most famous songs, but the other songs are just as good, if not better, on this. Great arrangements. They were great arrangers of Status Quo. Andy Bounce keyboards adding texture. Fantastic drummer, John Coghlan. The ultimate groove drummer, at least in rock music anyway. And Alan Lancaster on bass. All three singers are great: Francis Rossi, Rick Parfitt, Alan Lancaster. And check out Alan Lancaster's song Too Far Gone on this, but all the songs are great because it has the insistent signature Quo sound, the boogie sound. Yeah. And there's a bonus track on this disc. There's a version of the Beatles' Getting Better from the Sgt. Pepper's album, and it's done in a new arrangement with an orchestra as well. That's very interesting. So there, rocking all over the world. I know people prefer Pile Driver or one of the other albums, but this is my favourite. Number 7, my favourite Rolling Stones, Goat's Head Soup. Terrific album. It's the album that I dig every track on. Often I've got quite a few Stones albums and had other ones in the past, and I've loved them, but there's always a track that I don't enjoy so much. This one it's perfect all the way through, especially Angie, my favourite track. Keith Richards and the acoustic guitar on that, it's just stunning. And well, Mick Jagger leading you along with his lyrics and his phrasing. One of the best rock and roll drummers of all time, Charlie Watts. Bill Wyman, brilliant, inventive bass guitarist. And they're augmented by, and Mick Taylor, of course, on guitar too. And they're augmented by Billy Preston and another guy on piano. I'm sorry, I've forgotten his name. But he's also great on the keyboards. So there's Dancing with Mr. D, fantastic record, referring of course to the great Antoine Domino, Mr. D. Heartbreaker, Starbucker. I mentioned Angie, just fantastic. All great tracks. Keith Richards sings one of them very well. It's a song in which he says he wants to put his tongue in someone else's pie. So there we are. Very down to earth. The next one is, there's another card one. I did have the vinyl of this from way back when, and it's The Impossible Dream by the sensational Alex Harvey Band. A powerful, muscular album, this, with Alex's great songs and just fantastic band performance. Vambo, River of Love, Sergeant Fury's a fun number, the entire Hot City Symphony, including Vambo. What else is there? There's the classic rock version of The Impossible Dream, or part of The Impossible Dream song. And Tomahawk Kid, Long Hair Music, great. And to top it all, there's an anthemic song at the end entitled, what was it again? Of course, Anthem. It's called Anthem. And it's a powerful rock number with a great guitar solo from Zal Clemenson, also augmented by a bagpipes ensemble. So we have the Scottish band of my list. Of course, Alex Harvey was known as the Scottish answer to Tommy Steele back in the day, and he was pushing 40 when he made this record, but he had a younger band. Right, so that's that one, The Impossible Dream. The next one is Hard-Hearted Alice. Alice Cooper, School's Out. I know a lot of people prefer Killer or Billion Dollar Babies, or the later ones with the new bands that he had after this. But for me, the early band, I still prefer the early band. I don't think he got a better band later. And this School's Out, fun concept album. It's hard rock for the most part, but it has kind of what I call musical allusions to sounds that you may have heard when you were at school. For example, some quasi-classical or pseudo-classical piano of My Stars. There's bits of West Side Story in a couple of tracks. And there's a spoof Alma Mater song called Alma Mater. And at the end there's the grand finale, which is the kind of prom band with the group playing with it too. That's great. There's some jazz on Blue Turk. But my favourite song is Looney Tune, which is kind of a dark cartoon scenario. Alice Cooper had emerged from Frank Zappa's label, having played in kind of experimental progressive music, and became purveyors of shock rock theatre, in which they would do bizarre things on stage, like having their heads chopped off and things like that. I won't go into the details. And of course there were songs to go with that. And they became purveyors of great anthems like I'm 18 and Elected and No More Mr. Nice Guy. And of course the title track from this, School's Out. Great record. In fact, it's almost a progressive rock record. Perhaps it is a progressive rock record. I don't know. I won't go into that. The next album up is Doors and LA Woman. What can I say? Doors, musically unique. And they still managed to squeeze in some traditional blues song structures. The leonine, leather-trousered Jim Morrison, the late Jim Morrison, great form on this. The guitars sing, and there's the paradiddling organ, great rock drummer. And as a bonus, you get one of the greatest bass guitarists of all time, if not the greatest, Jerry Sheff, guesting here on this album. Great lyrics, especially LA Woman and Riders of the Storm, which everyone's heard of. Riders of the Storm has become, along with some other Doors songs, has become kind of ingrained in the consciousness of Western man, if that isn't too portentous or pretentious. There we have it. Great production values too, clear sound, fantastic. Next one is my favourite Led Zeppelin album. Surprise, surprise, no one else has this as their favourite. but it is Presence. Presence by Led Zeppelin. And why is it my favourite? Well, because it's unique. The music, the style is unique. Okay, so Tea for One has a cream-like arrangement. The arrangement's like cream. But it's such a beautiful blues song, being a kind of play on the Tea for Two song, which is sort of enjoyed by many carefree lovers. This gives the opposite side of love, if you like, Tea for One, the parting of the ways. Yeah, but every track on this is just unique in style. When Led Zeppelin started, everybody started to be heavily influenced by them or even imitate them. But anyway, Presence, great. Achilles' Last Stand, For Your Love, and check out the harmonica solo on Nobody's Fault But Mine. It's a heavy harmonica. You never hear a harmonica sound that loud. It sounds as though it's being blasted through a dozen speakers. Guitar work's fantastic. Robert Plant's great. Of course, John Paul Jones, as always, is perfect. And John Bonham's drumming is stunning. So there we have it, Presence by Led Zeppelin. Now the top two, I wasn't sure which order to put them in, but I think I've got it right, perhaps I've got it right. Number two, I've got Queen's A Night at the Opera, which is an obvious choice. Everyone has this high up on their list, but that's not without reason. It's the greatest triumph for the classic rock genre. It's powerful, it's driving, the songs are great, and there's a lot of different tacks in the songs. There's even a kind of progressive element, or something that perhaps that may be a progressive agenda. Prophet's Song and Bohemian Rhapsody. Yes. What can I say? One of the best rock guitarists you'll ever hear, Brian May. The great frontman and singer, Freddie Mercury. The other two, one of the most solid rhythm sections you'll ever hear. It just takes you on a musical journey. These guys had mastered their craft by this time. So there we have it, A Night at the Opera by Queen. So what could I possibly put above that? Number one. This could have been number one, and the other one could have been number two. But number one, I think I've got this right. Deep Purple in rock. The reason I put it at number one is it's a seminal classic rock album. It defined the new style from all the rock and pop of the 60s and all the rest of it. In terms of composition, it's probably the most imitated album of all time. Apart from the ones on my list, most bands seem to have imitated Deep Purple, especially this album. We'll start at the beginning of it, for example, Speed King. When you think you've heard the best classic rock record you've ever heard, and then when you hear Speed King, it's even better. Child in Time, fantastic record. Ritchie Blackmore's great on this. Light of the Rat, Ian Pace. It's just a brilliant band. And every song's great. There's a tour de force of classic rock. It's heavy, but capable of gentleness in what I've heard Ian Anderson call the Beethoven dynamic. in which you have something gentle or something quiet before or after something loud and powerful. Sort of, it helps to emphasize both passages of music. There's some of that on this. And of course, Ian Gillan, true rock and roller, one of the greatest singers in popular music, and the archetypal rock singer. Right, so that's the end of my ranking video. I hope you've enjoyed it. So until the next time, this is Sherwin Green signing off. If I can find the... Got it. No, I haven't. I think I've got it now. Bye-bye.